So we got to D level max, and not with Snake Eyes, not with Branded, not with any deck that plays Shifter. We got there with Dragon these nuts. Sorry. So why did I choose dragons? Well, okay, so it's sort of like a long explanation, but it's not because I like this deck or anything. If I were like a true Dragon Link player, I would probably not be able to touch this deck, seeing as how it plays now versus how it used to be, being like a shell of its former self. You know, it's not because of that attachment. Because that so we're in a format right now where hand traps rule the format, and a lot of the best decks for this format are decks that just run a hell of a lot of hand traps, and basically to the point where you want to consistently open 2. And in order to even like semi-consistently open 2 hand traps this format, well, not this format, but in general, you probably need to run around 15-ish hand traps. I believe that way you get around a 60-63% chance to open 2 hand traps, which, you know, gives you a fighting chance against all the, like, not just Snake Eyes, but like all the other random combo decks in the format that are just gonna like pseudo FTK you if you don't manage to stop them. Or, you know, good luck playing the Snake Eyes board when they themselves have 2-3 hand traps in hand. So the problem with that approach is not a lot of decks can actually find the room to run 15 plus hand traps. So that's where we enter Dragon Link. And Dragon Link can cheat the hand trap math a bit because it doesn't have to spend extra deck space to run a lot of hand traps. Because here, the Bystials, you have 6 slots that are extenders that you would probably run anyways, because Bystials are probably the best dragon extenders in the deck due to them being level 6. So that has a lot of synergy with Attuned. It has synergy to make a Dissipator with your tracers. It banishes your monsters, again for Dissipator synergy. It, you know, obviously it lets you summon Bestial Rebellion too. So like you would probably be running as many copies of these as warranted anyways. And because of that, you just get 6 hand traps basically for free that you didn't have to spend to find extra deck space slots to fit in, and that are also not just hand traps. You know, these aren't like, don't contribute as much to breaking as like say a normal hand traps do, because hand traps normally they don't contribute to your combo at all. They're just non-engine. Well, here these Bystials act as non-engine plus engine. And well, first of all, you might be thinking, how good are Bystials in this format actually, right? Aren't we in a fire-dominated format? And well, yes, Snake Eyes is the most popular deck. Just keep in mind, it's just not a tier 0 format. I think anyone that has played this Duelist Cup or has played ranked trying to get the Master realizes that this is, I mean, we've had a tier 0 format in Master Duel. It was, you know, tier quote-unquote 0 Tearlaments, and this is nowhere close to that. Anyone that's played during that format should recognize that we're not close to that kind of tier 0 format right now. And because of that, there are quite a number of other decks in this format. So we have stuff like Branded, we have stuff like Labyrinth, which is making a comeback due to people wanting to play transaction rollback. And, you know, for some reason, Tearlament is like one of the most common decks I play. It's like Tearlament is like the 3rd most common deck I played on Ladder and Duelist Cup for some reason. And, you know, against decks like that, Bystials absolutely ravaged them. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, Math Mech is also a deck, and Bystials also destroyed that deck. So that's like 4 semi-common matchups that just Bystials just absolutely like destroy. So if you ever face a non-Snake Eyes, your chances of playing a good matchup for Bystials are really high. And then these are honestly the best hand traps you can draw against them, you know, aside from say Maxi or maybe Ash against Labyrinth. And against Snake Eyes itself, right? Bystials aren't actually terrible. In fact, they pretty much contribute as much as I would say another, you know, at the average low quote-unquote low impact hand trap, like as much as say an Ash Blossom would, and not as much as say an Imperm, but you know, close. The impact is close. It's in the fact that you're never gonna stop an entire turn by its entire Snake Eyes turn with just one Bystial by itself, but you're probably not gonna do that with most hand traps anyways. And these there are very good targets you can hit. First of all, you can always hit the IP Masquerena play, you know, where they try to set it back with Flambirds. The IP is pretty much not a card against you just because you have 6 Bystials that always snipe it out before it comes back. So that's one guaranteed disruption that you can get rid of with your Bystials. Another one is if they go a Savage line, or they go the Sinker line and try to go Savage, they will require to equip the Linkuriboh, and then you can just Bystial away the Linkuriboh, even if they chain it. It's not going to be attached to the Savage, so you don't have to deal with the Savage negate in that case. And also, you can just, you know, wipe out the Linkuriboh so that it can't protect Appaloosa later in turn. You can just run over the Appaloosa with your Bystial. You know, the guys players think they're slick trying to IP into an Appaloosa when with a Bystial on the field without the Linkuriboh engraved. I've had that happen before. You know, it's pretty humorous, but yeah, because these are actually do something against Snake Eyes, and because they count as hand traps, it helps the hand trap math, because now you have 1, 2, 3 plus Gamma, so you have 11 standard or traditional hand traps, and then you have 6 Bystials. So that moves your total from hand trap count all the way up to 17. And with 17 hand traps, that's about like 66-67% chance to open 2 in a 43 card deck like this. So you actually have a higher chance of opening 2 quote-unquote hand traps if you include the Bystials in Dragon Link than you do in the average Snake Eyes deck, which plays 15 hand traps. So you actually have a better hand trap ratio than most decks do this format. So that is the advantage of playing Dragon Link, because Dragon Link is the one deck that already uses Bystials as engine, so they get 6 hand traps for free. I know you might be thinking Branded plays Bystials too, right? Well, I mean, Branded, the only Bystial that actually contributes to help Branded combo is Sarnir. All of these cards, the other Bystials, they don't actually help you combo in a real way unless you're playing Branded Synchro for some reason, which with one Sarnir, you know, the big ups to you if you are. But yeah, most decks wouldn't be running the Bystials anyways, because they don't benefit them too much from them as engines, so then they probably look towards other hand traps to run. But yeah, that's pretty much the gist of the main benefit of playing Dragon Link. And I guess we can go over the deck list, I suppose. So we already went over like the hand traps and the Bystials and the stuff like that. 2 Tracer plus the Recharger. Honestly, most of this is very standard. You run Black Eyed Meteor Dragon, since I think Gamma is an insane hand trap this format, like it is always. Well, when a deck can play it, and then it's a free extender, and even if you don't want to summon it with Driver, half the time you summon this, you're summoning this with Romulus. You special Piste to a Romulus Stone, then you activate Romulus's special secret effect to summon a dragon monster from your hand, negated, and you can't use it as link sub material, but usually you're going to be summoning this. And because when you summon this with Romulus effect and it's negated, it's a level 6 monster. If you summon it with its own effect, it becomes level 7 for some reason, and then that way it doesn't synergize as well, because then you can't use this to make a Tomb or Dissipator. But if you summon this with Romulus, even though you can't use this link material, it's level 6, so therefore you're probably going to make Dissipator or a Tomb with it anyway, so it doesn't matter, and it's a free extender that way. And Triple Seyfert is probably the next weird odd thing. If you saw my other Dragon Link video, I explained that Seyfert is honestly the second best starter after Black Metal Dragon, because there is really no good one-card starter after Black Metal anymore. And what Starlight Seyfert enables is that when you pair those up with a Bystial, you can Seyfert pitch a Bystial, any Bystial, including the bad one, which is Baldric, at Sarnir. And then when you link Sarnir off, Sarnir will send Lubellion to the grave, and because you started with Seyfert, Seyfert can then banish itself to add Lubellion back to your hand, and then that gives you a free extender and it accesses your Bystial engine that way. And also, it's good to draw too. Even if you draw this with another normal summon, you just pitch this off Ravine, and then you can get a free add back later. It also you need this as part of the Tomb combos where you already have, like, say, a Lubellion, or you start with Levianeer, for example. So one of these 4 level 8s, you can Tomb out a Seyfert, and then Seyfert will send the level 8 on board, usually Lubellion, and that will let you add the other level 8, which in most cases is Lemonade. So it gets you both level 8s in your Tomb combo as well. So you ought to run at least one in my opinion, but honestly this card's pretty decent to draw, as long as you open playable anyways. The other, I guess, normal summon engine is Dragon Maids. Just like Chamber Dragon Maid plus Hospitality and Tidying. The reason I don't want to play this is because it's kind of, you're adding like at least 2 if not 3 bricks, because a lot of people run 2 Tidying with this as well. But these cards are basically, they're not very good cards unless you hard open the Chamber Dragon Maid to begin with. So it's like a 2 to bricks to 3 good cards ratio, and it's also, it bloats up the decks to where you have to run like 5 additional cards on deck, and then you see we're already over 40, we're at 43, and then going over even more. That also, too high of a deck count will hurt your ability to draw into your hand traps, and it will make the hand trap math that you work so hard to put in your favor, you know, be worse for you. So yeah, and then the spells are standard. The regain is so I'm not running Beast. I know I said in the past that I think Beast is really good and that you should probably run it, especially in the lower powered version of the deck right now. But I mean, one is I was already over 40 and I wanted to cut down as much as possible just so I can have a higher chance of drawing like Bystials plus hand trap combinations. And then also, I never got this far. Like against bad players, yeah, Beast is pretty good going second because they won't see your Rebellion as a threat, and then they'll just let you go as far as Druisworm, summon Druisworm, and then get the Druisworm to the grave with Rebellion to send a monster, then you can place Beast. Like, yeah, that's nice, but against good players, they'll never let you get that far. Like, they'll probably stop the Rebellion to trade 1-for-1 interruptions, or like at least prevent you from summoning the Druisworm, so that in that way the Branded Beast doesn't help as much going second, since you never really get to the point where you can place a Branded Beast in the first place. So yeah, I ended up cutting it, and then wouldn't you know, the first game, 2 games that after I cut Branded Beast, it came up, but you know, I did win those games anyway, so it was fine. I guess we didn't really need this card, but I mean, definitely you could just run to the 44 and run like another Branded Beast. It's fine. You could also run Cross-L Designator for other Melta Maxi, because Maxi is kind of a bitch for this deck. And yeah, for the extra deck, so everything except I believe everything except Dillingerous and Access Code is in this deck right now is a staple. So like everything except these 2 cards. These 2 cards are the flex spots. I guess you can consider Dark. You don't necessarily need Dark, but I think Dark is ridiculous, especially since every deck has a Dark monster that you can just revive, and when you make Dark, you basically get to combo. You're basically 1 Tracer away from dealing full combo anyways, always with Dark. And also Dark is really nice because you could crash it and then search Black Metal, which is your best starter. So yeah, I think this card's too important to cut. For the slots where you can put an Access Code or Dillingerous, you could also put so the 4 cards that I consider for these 2 slots are Dill, Access Code, Baron, and Chaos Angel. So it used to be Baron, and this card just does not come up anymore with the deck. The only time you never make this going first. If you make this going first, you're doing something wrong. The only time you make this is when you go second and you have a floating Bystial on the field, right? Like one of these things, and then you have Quick Launch. So you can Quick Launch out a Tracer and then go into Baron to try and pop the field, like get rid of their interruptions, and then you can normal summon up Dragon. So that we're like in the realm of like 3-card combos with like including 2 of, because you don't want to make Baron if you have to normal summon Tracer, because then you make Baron, but then how do you do your Dragon Link plays after that if you already spent your normal summon, right? So it just never came out to a point where Baron was like the right card to make, so I ended up just cutting it. And Chaos Angel is similar, except you could also make Chaos Angel with Stafford, I guess. Again, I also don't really you never really find a position where you make Chaos Angel, because if you're making Chaos Angel, you're safer. Then it's not helping you make Striker Dragon or Romulus or Seals, which are usually what you want to make with the safer in the first place. So this also didn't come up. So I ended up going with Access Code and Dillingerous. Dillingerous also like this is the 15 extra slot, right? So like this Dillingerous also didn't come up very much. I tried to go into Dillingerous combo a lot just to test for science and see how many times making Dillingerous play actually made a difference. And I would say 80% of the time I went for Dillingerous, it didn't really matter. It didn't help me that much. All it did was gave me a free recharge on board at the end of my combo, which doesn't really, do much. It's like you didn't really, if you just went normal, all you would lose is one recharge on the field. Like whoop de freaking do, right? So like this comes up like maybe 1 out of every like 10-ish games that helps you make your end board. Because the idea with Dillingerous is that with any 2 dragons, if you play Dillingerous, you can end on Borderland plus Savage. But like that's only because that's only if you only open 2 dragons. If you open any extra extenders, then the Dillingerous doesn't really, you don't need it. And if you get hand trapped while you only can have 2 dragons, you also you never get that far, so you end up just making seals, so the Dillingerous doesn't help you there. It's like only very specific opportunities where like you open only exactly 2 dragons, or you open like a dragon and extender and you get hand trapped once on a specific line that actually matters, which a lot of people don't know how to hand trap this deck because this deck just hasn't seen play very often. So yeah, this didn't come up too much either, but it also, I guess it came up more than Baron and Chaos Angel did, because those cards literally never came up. And then Access Codes, it's just an OTK line, so if you go for Borderland and they have a lot of bodies on the field, sometimes you can't actually kill them. But I mean, Access Code just gives you the option to kill them, and 1 Black Metal Dragon does equal full Access Code OTK. In fact, you can get the Access Code plus another body with just any 2 dragons. It's just that if you don't open Black Metal, then usually the other dragon is going to be like a Bystial with 2500, and that's not exactly game. So if you manage to get to 2 dragons and one happens to be Red Ice Darkness Metal or even Chaos Dragon Linear, then that's game. So it's been nice. It's nice to have an option to actually just kill them instead of just making Borderland and then Borderland Savage and leaving it to the next turn, right? You might get cooked by Super Poly if you do that, whereas if you just kill them, there's no real outs of that. So let's go check out this deck in action. So I want to just preface by saying that it's been a hot minute since I've actually played a bit of D-Link, and when you don't play Dragon Link for a while, let me tell you, it shows. And there's a lot of de-rusting going on in the process of this Duelist Cup so far, and I made a lot of misplays. I'm telling you to write that right now. First, let's begin with this. First misplay already, first play of the game. Normal summon Rocket Tracer. When I have Safer plus double Tracer in hand, you're supposed to normal summon Stay Safer, pitch Tracer, add what's it called? Add a what's the thing? Rocket Caliber, and then if you do that, and then you add a quick add Boot Sector summon Rocket Tracer plus Caliber, then you can go into full combo that way. No, I didn't do that. I normal summon Tracer, and when you normal summon Tracer with this hand, it literally does nothing. Like actually, it seals pass. That's about it. So I'm gonna have to use Boot to summon the Tracer and then make seal, and then I'm making Romulus first because I wanted to add a Ravine to pitch the Safer to dump Lubellion and add Lubellion so I would have Bystial access, but no, we're not gonna have that. We can't have nice things. So I have 3 Darksting Graves, so I'm gonna special Levineer, hand loop for 1, then make Steel's pass. With Steel's is my only interaction. My opponent. Now, everyone and their mother knows. Please do not nib a Seals, especially if it's just Seals by itself. This is the worst play in the game. Don't. Just don't. The funny thing is, if I had done my normal full combo and played properly, I would have played into Nibiru and I would have lost. But because I fucking misplayed so hard that I bricked my own hand, so that all I could do was end on seals. I gave the avenue for my opponent to misplay harder than I did and live my seals. So here's what happens when you Nibiru seals. Okay, so we get the token, and then I summon black metal from decks. I haven't used it yet. I'll link it off in the Striker Dragon. Add red eyes, special to red eyes, and then get the black metal dragon back. You know, you just gave me a free black metal dragon, which is 3 bodies on it all. Link the red eyes and the token. This is something important. You gotta link the token off when you get nibbed into a dark monster with, well, not a dark monster, but into anything with 2 down point arrows like this. So it could be dark. If you don't play dark, it could be IP instead. That's also fine. And here, the leftover black metal, we link it into Pisty, and this will get me my black meteor, special to black meteor, dumping the driver, and then link these 2 off into triple burst. And triple burst will bring back the rocket tracer. By the way, I have not used tracer's effect this turn, so yeah, we get the tracer effect now. And now we go Borland, and Borland revive tracer and go into Savage. So thank you very much. I'm sure this board was much easier to deal with than Seals past. Like, thank you for your Nibiru, the most profitable Nibiru in existence. And yeah, our opponent normal summons Fowler, so their hand isn't even good. They don't even have a good starter. And I'm literally not negating anything because I know they can't even out in Borland at this rate. So cool. So this is basically the most hardest this deck can combo. When you have black metal plus Sarnier, this is like absolutely like the hardest you can go with this deck. And you know, if you've been with black metal dragon and you add a red eyes black meteor, because I already had the red eyes starter in middle hand, so we special the darkest metal, bring back that, and go into Romulus, and Romulus adds the ravine. And I don't even use this ravine because I want the Romulus in the field, but I don't care about this ravine because we already have the Tracer in hand. So I'm actually gonna just summon Tracer immediately, and then go into Pisty. Then Pisty will trigger the Romulus, the special the Black Meteor Dragon as a level 6. Then you special Sarnier. You go into a Tomb. At this point, I felt no responses. You know, stage 1, no responses. Probably don't have nib. So here we special Safer, and then Sarnier will dump Baldrake because you know, it doesn't really need we already have access to Lubellion by especially Levineer. You hand loop 1 and then you Safer send to Levineer, and this will add you your Lubellion, and then you know, Lubellion will add you your Magnabud, and then link these 2 into Triple Burst, and then Pisty will bring back the Tracer, since we haven't used Tracers affected. Bring these 2 off the seals, and then Tracer will special Magnabud, banishing the Triple Burst. It's very important, banish the Triple Burst. This is something I messed up in the past before, but yeah, you want to banish this. This you'll see in a minute. And then Tracer will use the effect, bring back the get Charger, and then you make Dissipator, and then Dissipator will bring back the Triple Burst. This is why banishing Triple Burst is key. This way you get 3 link materials for free back on board after you link off the Triple Burst Dragon. So it's like you didn't lose any link materials anyways by doing this combo. And then you can link off, you send the Dissipator for Rebellion, then you link those 3 off into Borland, and then Safer adds back the Levineer just so I get an extra draw off the regain, because why not, you know? And we draw an extender, nice. So Borland will target Recharger, go into Savage Dragon, and then because we drew an extra extender, I can just summon the Levineer again and then use the extender to go into IP. So this is every single extra deck monster, every single NP's on board right now. Seals, Savage, Borland, IP Masquerena with a Dissipator engraved that will revive itself after you get Regain, after your opponent summons off Regain, and then you get a Druid's Worm. So this is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 plus interruptions, plus the hand loop, so really that's like 7 interruptions right there, plus follow-up. Yeah, you're not winning that. not even set Albaz make Lenatussi will save you from that. Alright, so this game, we open an excellent hand, except for Beast. You know, it's the reason why I did end up cutting it, unfortunately. And they didn't fall for the Rock Quick Launch. They never Maxi or Ash the the quick launch, so Gamma never resolves, but you know, I guess it's still good to have in your deck. And yeah, we normal summon the Black Metal, get the Red Eyes, special the Red Eyes, special the Black Metal, go into Romulus, and Black Metal Surge, get me a Black Meteor and Dragon Ravine. And here's where they draw. Okay, so why? Well, why did you wait until I got 2 surges off of it? Like, okay, so I presume that you didn't think I was playing Black Meteor Dragon, right? So you didn't think that I could get a second surge off Black Metal Dragon. Okay, sure. But why would you still let me get to Ravine? And here's why you don't let Dragon players get to Ravine, like, if possible. Because you really should have dropped this Droll on the food sector. Like, I don't know what you were... I was going to end on Seal's Pass. But here, instead, we activate Dragon Ravine, pitching Safer, dumping Levineer. And then Safer is going to add back the Levineer from hand, from a grave. And now, I'm going to use Tracer, pop the Dragon Ravine, get the Pisty, do my full combo, special... when we special Pisty to the Romulus zone, that will summon the Black Meteor, and it'll summon it at a level 6, which means that instead of summoning with its own effect as a level 7, then you make Dissipator with the Rocket Tracer on the field. Then you special Levineer, and then you hand rip one, and then Dissipator will bring back the Striker Dragon that I banished conveniently to the zone that allows me to trigger Pisty. Nice. And now I get to Dillingerous for free. This is probably the best time to Dillingerous because you Dillingerous without using your second Striker Dragon, because this is the Striker Dragon that we banished earlier anyways. So yeah, you don't waste your Fallout Striker Dragon and you just get to do this line. And once again, you go Borderland, and then Borderland, target Safer, bring back Recharger, and go into Savage Dragon. Once again, this Dillingerous didn't really do anything. This Dillingerous only gave me an extra body, which was mounted to Rocket Recharger, which this is not very necessary for the field. You can... When I went to Dillingerous for science, and it just does not... It didn't really end up mattering anyways. That extra body didn't really help. But, you know... Again, very, very nice Droll and Lockbird. Very, very nice Droll timing. Yeah, please don't wait to Droll the Dragon Link player. Just... You see what happens. I promise this isn't just going to me full calming my opponents to oblivion. It's just that these are some really cool lines that I just managed to half-ass my way into that, you know, I'm sure that I feel is good to share. So here, the standard Striker Dragon add quick launch, right? Sarnier will banish Striker Dragon, and then I will link these two off into Romulus. And here, well, we'll dump Lubellion with the Sarnier, and then we'll add Dragon Ravine. And activate Dragon Ravine, pitch Gamma, and guess what I'm sending? That's right, I'm sending Safer. I ain't sending the Absolute Rocket. This is a line where we don't actually add the Tracer from the Ravine. So the reason I do Safer is because I dump the Lubellion so I can get access to the Lubellion, right? And then I'll Lubellion add Magnum, but special the Magnum, I get the Magnum blood. And then use a Food Sector, because I have a Rocket in hand already. I have a Black Caliber, which is also a level 4 Dragon Tuner. Now, it is not a Tracer, so don't get an extra body from this, but here I can use these two to synchro into Dissipator first, and then Dissipator will revive the Tracer that I banished at the beginning with the Sarnier. And that's how you access the Tracer this way. So, in essence, the Dragon Ravine Dummy Safer allowed me to get the access, and it let me get Dissipator, which let me revive the Tracer to get Tracer access anyway. And here I'm going for the Dill line because for science. And here we bring back the Lubellion, and Lubellion places the Regain, and then we send the Regain. We send the Lubellion to add the Levineer, and then special Levineer, the Banishing 3, and then we get the Regain draw as well, and we get the Hand Rip. So just by getting Lubellion access and all that stuff, like this is why I love the Safer tactic still. So Red Eyes, we draw into Red Eyes, excellent draw by the way. That allows us to special Red Eyes, bring back the Dissipator so it's on our end board, and then use Dillingerous, and then Dragon Dragon pop Dillingerous. And yeah, this is yet another combo line where Dillingerous didn't add anything to my end board. So yeah, you see, if I didn't go for Dillingerous, if we just went for Triple Burst, we would have had enough bodies to make Savage anyway. So this Dillingerous literally did not do anything but let me end with Recharge on field, which doesn't do anything. But you know, so yeah, Dillingerous showing its case again why it's not exactly the most necessary extra deck slot. But as you can see, because we dumped Seyfried, Seyfried is like so huge. It gave me back my Lubellion that I dumped, and it let me add back, and it allows me to special back the Seyfried with Histy, so that when it's back on the field, you get to pitch the on-field Lubellion to search the Levianeer. So that not only triggers your regain draw, but it gets a hand rip. So yeah, this board is way better than if you just send Tracer off of Ragnar Beam, or add a Tracer by sending the Absol Rocket off Ragnar Beam. And here our opponent's on Kashtira, so this is one of the only things that you can call by the grave. Pretty nice. And they open Unicorn anyways. And funny interaction, because we called by their Planet Pathfinder, we could actually get to use the negate on Bystials Dissipator, which is the interaction that doesn't really come up that often, but you know, pretty funny. And then they get rid of Baron because that was totally coming in handy, and they Feels anyway. So who says Kashtira is bricky? You don't even Planet Pathfinder Unicorn Feels anyways. Like, you telling me this deck's bricky? Yeah, anyways, it was not good enough to beat 5 interruption board with a follow up. So you know, just attack the game, and once again, this rocket recharger we have on the field, thanks to Dillingerous, very crucial for the board. But yeah, if you told me where that hand was ending up when I first looked at it, I would have not told you it was ending on Dispatter Savage Borderland. But you know, that's the beauty of Dragon League. You don't really know where it ends up until you're like 30-50% of the way through the combo. Now here is one of the biggest perks to playing Dragon League. It's when you don't play against Snake Eyes, but when you actually play against a deck that Bystials absolute wreck, like Branded Despia. Boom. No, Branded Fusion. Branded Lost. Okay, Branded Lost, not gonna lie, hard drawing Branded Lost, really kind of fucking annoying because now I can't Bystial under Branded Fusion. So this is Branded opens the absolute best hand to deal with my 2 Bystials. And let's see how it happens. So they do the standard line to Albion, then Albion, Branded Lost one. They misplayed, by the way. This should be a Albion should be chainlink once, so I couldn't respond anymore, but they gave me a window to respond, not that it really mattered too much. So Lubellion comes out, and here, because they messed up the Branded Lost chains, I could actually Bystial their Lubellion out of the grave right now, but I'm gonna be honest, it doesn't really matter too much. I'd rather not commit to the field for a Mirror Jade and do all, and like, see what they do. Sometimes they use the Mirror Jade effect, so here comes the Lubellion, and I'm also not afraid because they already have Lost in the field, so like, what, am I afraid of a Branded Beast or something? And yeah, they're gonna Mirror Jade, banish the Lubellion anyways. This guy owns more Royals, just showed up more Royals in their first turn than I have in my entire collection, by the way, just throwing that out there. I wonder if they're going for Royal Feet Ash too, imagine. So yeah, they burned their Mirror Jade, and then just to get a regain draw, so I'm gonna Bystial their, before they draw a card, I'm going to try to Bystial their Albion, and then I'm going to Bystial their Albion again because they have them a Courier too, and they're going to Designator. Cool. Just want to point out, they had this is Branded opening Branded Fusion with Branded Lost and a Crossout Designator for one of my Bystials. And even after all that, literally had the best counterplay they could possibly have for my Bystials. And look what happens, okay? So they're gonna get a Clem, and then they're gonna set Banishment. Like, oh no. But here's the funny thing: when you Mercury and you cross out my Bystials, I still have them in the hand. So I still, even though you negated them, I still check your Banishment and I still check your Clem. So you have 0 interruptions, my friend. And I'm gonna normal summon a Rocket, what's it? Black Metal Dragon, and that's full combo. And this really does not matter what they do. In fact, I'm like sliding on the middle. I'm special summoning Red Eyes. Thank you for putting back my Striker Dragon, by the way. Thank you. I could use that for later. Thank you very much. And bring back the Black Metal. And here I'm going into Seals because I already hard open Ravine, so might as well play around Nibiru. I can kill them through with a Seals on field through a Nibiru. So yeah, here we go. Add Red Eyes Black Meteor. Add Ragnar Ravine, dump Safer, send Absol Router, get my Tracer, and I'm gonna special Levianeer now to pop the field. They don't even bot. They don't even bother chaining because they know it's just gonna get Bystialed anyway, so they didn't bother using Quem or Banish the entire time. And now I get the Boot Sector out, the Tracer, into Recharger, into Pisty, and then go into Striker Dragon. Here I'm doing the Dill line. I don't think the Dill line is necessary, but because they so nicely put back my Striker Dragon into the extra deck, they gave me an extra Striker Dragon to play with, so I might as well make the second Striker Dragon, right? And here we go, safer, put the Levineer, send the Levineer to add the Lebellion, and then Lebellion will add Magma. And now I have 3 Bystials versus Branded, so this is literally unwinnable for them, even if they somehow have like 3 Nibirus resolve 3 Nibirus on me in 1 turn, which they're not going to. So we get the regain, and now literally Nibiru will absolutely do absolutely nothing, and then regain, put back the Quem to get another draw. Oh, look, another Bystial. And here we go, Dill. This is unnecessary. I think I already had game on board, I'm gonna be honest. But because I play Dill, I might as well use it, right? Get the Recharger, target Dill, get back Tracer, get back Dill, and then link off the Dill and the Saferd into a Unicorn. This is a nice play about the Dill line. It gets you a co-linked Unicorn pretty easily, and so for a free draw, and then you can still go Access Code after. Not that I need to, because I have, you know, might as well, if they held Nib for this long, you might as well go this pattern just to play around the Nib one last time, put up a negate for it. But you know, it's, yeah, there's no 0 parallel universes in the world where Brandon was gonna beat a hand with that many Bystials. So here we have a game versus another very popular deck during the Duelist Cup. First, we start by getting Max Seed. If you get Max Seed in this position, here I will use Lebellion, try to search for them, and get Ash. So Max Seed Ash against my opponent. Very, very nice, very, very nice. It's just what you want to see. So like at this position, because I only have 1 defensive card, I elect to give them 1 draw. If you can give them 1 draw off of Max Seed, you can go into Striker Dragon, which will add you your Boot Sector launch, and then you will use Striker Dragon to pop itself to add the Rocket Tracer back hand. That way you don't lose any resource off of this, so you don't just have a body chilling on the field that's going to die by battle, right? You get your monster back, and you get a Boot Sector launch for follow-up, and it's out of your deck too, so off of 1 draw it's well worth it. I probably should have led with that first, because then they might have just ashed the Striker Dragon. I could have had a Magnemite in hand too, which would have been very nice, because look at this matchup. Our opponent's on King of the Swamp to add Poly, sick, and yeah, they're on tier. So this is a like probably the 2nd or 3rd most common deck I've seen after Snake Eyes in this Duelist Cup. I don't know why, and you know, it's funny that it is, because that means I've been playing the deck that counters tier. So no, that's very nice. I elect to let this go because I know they have a Poly in hand, and if I Valor the Rhinoheart, they can just make a Poly if they have any other name, and then it's like this Valor did nothing, so you get punished that way. So I just let it go and let them fuse into Kick Hellos first, so I can at least Valor the kit. And yeah, so Valor the kit. At least they don't get the kit. They can Poly again. They can get the kit off the field, but they don't get the kit off the Surge off kit. They only get the fusion into Roll Kalos, and then they get the mill 5, which, you know, we gotta hope they whiff. But also, even if they do hit, it's not game yet, because Roll Kalos plus Kaleido Heart is only 6k or 6.5k. No, Kaleido's Heart's only 6k, so it's only 3k. So yeah, it's only 6k damage, even if they do hit off this mill. And they didn't. They hit a Shuffler though, which is really annoying. That Shuffler is no longer annoying because it's, you know, it gets called by it, so we just bait out the Shuffler, and they like to put back Valor and Bellion, you know, fair. They don't know that I have another Bellion in hand anyways. So yeah, against the Roll Kalos, this is not like this hand pushes through it, especially if they decide to, for some reason, they decide to negate the Black Meteor Dragon before I even commit a normal summon. I don't know why this card is so threatening to you and why you want to negate this with Roll Kalos, but you know, you do you, my friend. So I'm gonna normal summon the, after I bring that back, I'm gonna normal summon the Caliber that I knew I had anyways after, you know, searching Magnemite. Go Magnemite, banish their Kick Hellos, get that shit out of here, and then let's search it back. Bellion, then Lebellion places regain and normal summon Caliber, and I attack over the Rhino Heart first, because I can't kill them this turn, because I only have 2 cards. So I'm going to link these 2 off into Seals, and then, you know, Seals does deal with the board. Like, I have Druid's Worm in hand plus a Seal that already answered the roll colors. So this is already, and if they decide to summon at all, I get the Magnum back, which will just give me another Bystials. Like, literally, I have access to 2 to 3 Bystials every turn. Tyr is not going to win against this heck, like, anymore. They no longer have a win condition, especially since their Kikalis is also banished. And they enter battle phase, and we're just going to bounce the roll colors back. Then Seals will get Black Metal Dragons, so they don't have a monster on the field. This is going to live the next turn. Well, maybe not if it's a Fender. So on the summon Fender, I get a Magnum back, and they just banish the regain. You know, they didn't really have a good banish, because all 3 of these cards on the field, we're going to murder them next turn. Regain, Magnum, or Black Metal. They didn't really have a choice there, so they can go into the add Tear Cash, and then they can mill a Tear Cash, but they don't really have anything to hit. Because their Kick House is banished again, so even if they do hit like a tier name, like what are they gonna fuse into? Oh right, they can fuse into a roll back into roll colors, I guess. They can fuse back into roll colors, which will just get answered by Druid's Worm. So speaking of Druid's Worm, you special Druid's Worm, and then I'm just gonna send the Druid's Worm for the Lubellion. I know that's a meta noise set, and then Druid's Worm will send Fender, and you know, sure, go ahead. You know, send your tier name. I don't really care. Send Sharon, and then activate Sharon, which gets Bystial, by the way. So nice. Yeah, another Bystial. I love seeing a tier banish pile. I love seeing this banish pile. It's that's a Dragon Link player you want nothing more than just to see your tier opponent have all their names banished. And here, you'll Romulus, Black Metal, add Darkness Metal, and add Ravine. Here's special Darkness Metal, bring back Magnuma, get another Surge, so I have another Bystial for next turn. You know, just the endless conga line of Bystials. And then you add Tracer, and at this point I know they have Nib because they had a response for like 10 summons by now. And they're gonna nib me, and funny enough, I keep my Lubellion anyways, and I'm gonna normal summon Tracer, pop the Ravine, go off from there. Maybe don't even kill them, but again, it doesn't matter because I have another Bystial coming back to my hand at the end of turn. So yeah, that's a side benefit of playing Dragon Link. Half a bunch of the non-Snake Eyes decks just hard lose the Bystial, so that's nice. Want to see what an average game versus Snake Eyes looks like? All right, here. I got three hand traps. Okay. Opponent add side Velstar. At this point, I chain Maxi. They don't have an out to it. I guess I win the game. You know, thank you. What a great game. They pitch called by what? Huh. What? Okay, moving on. I will Gamma that because why not? And they will Ash this. They had. I want you to keep in mind they had called by Ash Blossom, and they let the Max Seed resolve. They let the fucking Max Seed resolve with Called by Ash. What the? They had 2 Called by the Graves, so they will Called by my Veiler. At which point, I don't know what the fuck is going on, so I'm gonna Druid's Worm my Veiler, because YEP buttons. Because opponent's hand double Called by Ash Blossom, and they let the Max Seed. What? 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 So yeah, we drew this from the Veiler so I can dodge the Called by on the Veiler. You know, that's a neat interaction. I wish that I could show that more in a you know better game state than this. Alright, so now they're gonna set a card. So, what? That better be a Solemn Judgment set. It's not a Solemn Judgment set. Okay, so yeah, normal Black Metal. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Huh? Oh, this is one of the games of all time. We opened the feat. This is unbeatable. I have an after max C, I have black metal, and I get shifter. So yeah, unfortunately, it's a little more janky. I'm gonna strike a dragon and then set the beast, and maybe as a bluff, I don't know, just get the boot sticker on my deck, and yeah, they're playing a shifter deck, so everyone knows every single shifter deck is just bricky as hell. They're just bricked up out of their mind. Unless they're playing VS, then they always open Raisin. But fortunately, our opponent's not on VS, and here I'm gonna normal summon another black metal, and I get Macrocosmos. So, thank you, man. Thankfully, Macrocosmos is a lot worse than Shifter, because here I'll just link these two off into seals, and then deal with my seals. I guess you bricked last turn. Surely you'll brick this turn, right? Okay, nice. At end phase, bounce the Macrocosmos back. Get Magnum, get the Magnum search, and yeah, there's nice deck, dude. Nice fucking deck. Imagine opening Shifter Macro versus Dragon Link and losing it. Couldn't be me. So this deck actually performed as well as I expected it to against a lot of the top matchups. Even Snake Eyes, it felt honestly like 50-50 or maybe slightly Snake Eyes favor, like at most 55-45 Snake Eyes. But honestly, the matchup just felt more dependent on who got to win the die roll and get to go first and resolve their combo, because this deck's combos and end boards, as you'd see, are still very formidable, and Snake Eyes isn't breaking through your combo if you do resolve it. And of course, against its good matchups, Tear, Cash, Labyrinth, they're all favored Dragon Link, and especially Math Mech as well. Although, assuming you open a Bystial, I happen to have a 20% chance of opening a Bystial against Math Mech for some reason, so that deck is still the bane of my existence, even when I play a good matchup against it. But that's a different topic. One problem though that I've kind of got a glimpse of when I played this deck is there are a certain semi-common matchups that this deck just has a terrible matchup against, that depending on how popular they are, it might cause you to second guess your choice for playing Dragon Link, which is one of them is Kashtira. Obviously, Kashtira is a terrible matchup. It's even worse when you're playing a build like this, which just doesn't run Imperm, it just doesn't run Alistair or Rise Heart. So it's like Bystials aren't actually real hand traps versus that matchup. So yeah, that's a little yikes right there. Granted, good thing whenever I see Unicorn, most people seem to be using Unicorn to grab Birth and using Unicorn in other combo decks as opposed to playing it real Kashtira, so thank you for that. But yeah, and then Super Heavy Samurai. Super Heavy Samurai is another matchup where Bystials aren't real hand traps, and obviously when you don't open hand traps against Super Heavy Samurai, you also auto lose, or you get FTK'd, or you get Calamity. So I'm not saying this deck has a perfect matchup spread. It has a decently good matchup spread. I would say it has an above average matchup spread, honestly, and it has good qualities with the number of hand traps it can run. It's just that just try to avoid those Shifter and Cash and like Super Heavy Samurai players, man. Those matchups are rough.